the Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.
Can you hear
When the
yourself?
sky...
As I was getting ready to ask, can you hear yourself okay? You were testing it to its full extent.
I can hear. I just
When the
redlined
sky-
everybody's ear. I was going to say, when the sky doesn't fall with water
It's true.
is when the fire starts in the mountain.
Sorry, you can hear a lot of
We cry.
percussive chair squeaks, which is playing this weekend.
They're the best mouse band.
Percussive chair squeaks.
They're the best alt mouse rock band.
They're opening for Billie Eilish.
Yeah. That is an excellent mouse-related joke.
Yes, it is. I said that
We just got flagged.
we totally
You
just got
said you
flagged.
can't talk. You can't say
talk
anything about Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish is loved.
She's a
She's
beloved
supported.
people.
And we're gonna and if you say things
That's
it's
a joke.
controversial.
My joke was that Billie Eilish sounds like a mouse that discovered how to use GarageBand. That was my joke because, look, I'm not saying it's bad music. I'm just saying
No.
I can hardly hear her. That's what I'm trying to say. I can hardly hear her. She's kind of behind the beat, really quietly. Like I'm in my car sometimes, and when a Billie Eilish song comes on, I know it because the subwoofer is making noise.
Right. Like her brother really is more the one we're hearing.
Yes,
doing all of the noise.
Yes, the noise. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a Billie Eilish song.
I just sounded like the oldest man.
I know all the noise, but no, I can my subwoofer in my car is like whatever, and I'm like, oh, it's a Billie Eilish song, and then you have to listen. But psych. She says psych in a song.
Psych.
I heard an ad the other day.
She gave us psych. That's bomb.
That is bomb.
Now I'm a fan.
But anyway,
She dropped a psych?
She drops a psych.
I should really rethink my Billie Eilish.
I don't know the song, but
attitude.
they play it on an advertisement, and she says some kind of endearing lyric, and then there's this pause, and she goes,
Oh, she psychs at the endearing lyric.
Yes,
So the really nice thing that she said, she's like, no, I don't mean the nice thing.
yes, modern
That
music,
is-
so ironic.
That's modern world.
It is.
Yes, we've been flagged.
Yes, we've been flagged. To Noel's point, we've already been flagged just from last episode.
We're doing it.
We are really making waves in the world of the environmental world, I guess.
This is how we know that we're the real thing, is when people aren't allowed to listen to us anymore.
Yeah. So what happened was I told Noel yesterday. We last week we tackled the fires in the Amazon. We talked about ways to prevent it, but we talked about some stuff about how there's probably people profiting
We said
from
very controversial things, like the whole Amazon isn't on fire.
Yeah, the whole Amazon isn't on fire.
You can't say that.
And there might be people that are benefiting financially from one version of the story versus the other. We said a lot of that stuff,
right? Which, by the way, maybe we're not. Maybe that's all baloney. Maybe we're full of it. But it's a stupid podcast.
But we're allowed to at least say it.
We say
because
it.
it's America.
It's America.
It's America.
What I can tell you is those fire facts I pulled out that people are very upset about.
Yeah.
Are like I will give you the source.
Yeah.
Because it's from an established reputable publication.
Yeah.
Like I didn't Google, fire stats. I actually did research and found a university paper with that's published by a reputable source and found the fire stats. And I'll go ahead and get that for you so y'all can download it. You see, you have to download it as a PDF because it was a real
document. He wasn't on Firepedia.
So
he was on a real site.
I'm not trying to say that we're perfect. I'm not trying to say that our opinions are always right, but we are going to try to find a way to get people to cheer up.
Yeah, cheer up and talk about maybe some issues that others aren't talking about.
Right.
And that apparently gets you flagged. I contacted Noel and I said, so apparently on Facebook, our links to the podcast about the Amazon are being flagged as violating community guidelines. That happened on Instagram as well. And I was like, that's crazy. That was our 29th episode. We have never been flagged. We have talked about plastic pollution and businesses that have caused problems in the world. We've talked about tons of different things that could possibly be seen as us going after specific groups of people for contributing to pollution or problems in the world.
Right.
And we've yet to be flagged.
But I think that's the interesting thing, though, is I think that we've reached a point which is so interesting in society where I think that the controversial opinion and the popular opinion are like the power has kind of switched.
Yeah.
So like the controversial opinion has kind of become the popular opinion.
Yes.
As unusual as that sounds. So if you
I get it.
if you say something that's kind of measured and calm, you're a Nazi.
Yeah, you sound like somebody who's, on social media. I mean, that's the funny thing is when you ever go like, well, let's look at this from an evaluating like both sides. People are like, no, they're canceled.
Yeah.
We're over it, and you're like, hey, let's just have a conversation for a second.
Yeah, well, it's tough out there because I saw something on Facebook.
It's hard out there for a pimp.
It's hard out there for a pimp. Trying to get your money for the rent.
That's true. So anyway,
but
sorry.
no, there was a thing on a mom group. I'm not on the mom group, but
yes, you
but
are.
I know
Don't
a mom.
you pretend
I'm
for 1 second that you're not on
I'm
that
an
mom
undercover
group.
mom.
You are.
Yeah, no, my
Coming this fall on ABC.
Wow.
Undercover Mom.
My earphones just started apparently working at a different level because he said come in and I was like, wow.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
my earballs.
Yeah.
My wife is in like a mom group, and there was a thing that said, oh poor Earth, and it showed and legitimately, understandably upset that there was a post that someone had put on a different mom site that said, hey, we found it, and it's a box full of toothbrushes that have the paste already on the toothpaste, on the brush, and they're wrapped in plastic. And she was saying how exciting it is that you have a toothbrush that can just be disposed and thrown away immediately, and none of that horrible mess of the toothpaste getting all over the place and whatever else.
Okay.
And it was a box of like 200 of these things.
Right.
And she's trying, she's saying people should buy these. These are great. Oh my God, these are going to be wonderful. Now, obviously, if you have our point of view,
that's not a good idea.
Plastic wrapped in plastic for a single-use toothbrush is a disaster.
Terrible idea.
It's a disaster.
Yeah.
So this mom was understandably very upset that this would be being put out there, that somebody could have that opinion.
Right.
So, but here's where we come in. Okay.
This is where we come in.
Her response to the person was a flame war attack of what a horrible, awful person this toothbrush person was, and how could you do you're a piece of garbage crap. Oh, you're ruining the planet. You're
my, oh my.
Right. Which is how we operate now on Earth. That's it.
Sure.
That's how you do it. When you don't like something, destroy it.
Right.
I can guarantee you that the other person who had this box of toothbrushes, I don't know what they're like. I don't know what they're about. I don't know this person, but I can guarantee you that their response to that would be, "Oh, well, blank your mama."
Yeah.
I'm doubling down.
More fighting words, basically.
I'm going to get more plastic. I'm going to double. Yeah. So and the whole point of what we're trying to do, and what we're getting flagged for apparently, is to be a little more measured and to at least talk about the other side, even if it isn't always full on, right?
Yeah.
Because most of the people who listen to this podcast are new environmentalists,
right?
Are people who are getting into it now, and
I think so too.
Yeah, and these are people who are like they listen to the show and then they learn a couple things, then go, oh, that's interesting, I didn't know that,
right?
And then they naturally make changes, and then they get to the point where they would never consider that the convenience of having a pre-pasted toothbrush was worth the amount of plastic damage that you're causing by throwing away, right?
Sure.
But if we then went on this podcast and did a podcast about the horrific move that it would be to have all these toothbrushes and to go into the terribleness of that, then all we would do is keep the people who are already environmentalists happy, and the people who aren't changing would just hate us.
Yeah, it alienates and separates, and that's the problem, is that nobody can have a conversation.
So to the flaggers of Facebook, because while it's cool to be controversial and it's cool to be whatever, what we're trying to do here is something that others aren't doing, and we hope to no longer get flagged for it, because we're going to talk about every side of the issue. We're going to bring light about every side of the issue, and we're not saying that every side of the issue is 100% correct.
Back off the flag.
Or that everything we're saying is correct. Because we're idiots too, and we try to make that clear by our stupid sound off at the end of the thing.
We've been upfront. We've been upfront since we started this thing that we don't know what we're doing.
We don't. Okay? We're trying our best to navigate this crazy. The only thing we know is that we want a better planet, and we want a better environment, and we spend the time to look into it and to try to make it easier for new people to embrace the concept without being militarized.
Exactly. So there you go. That's a good point about where we are in this day and age and what's going on. So, if you listened and you flagged the show because we said something you didn't like, then
tell us what you didn't like.
Tell us what you didn't like, and we'll have a conversation with you about it.
If we're wrong, we'll correct it, or we'll say, "Oh, sorry, our bad."
Yeah.
Right. And if we're pissing you off, then tell us so we can at least try to explain or try to make friends again. Because all we're trying to do is make friends.
Because we're good guys. Okay,
at least,
so back off the flag button.
Our moms think so.
Unless the powers that be, the Facebooks, the Instagrams, are just listening, and they've got
that is
they're just. It wasn't an individual that flagged us, but we're just being monitored, and that's even a scarier thought. So
and a little more awesome.
Yeah, and a little bit more awesome that we're being monitored. So right now, Facebook, if you're listening, if I could borrow $1 million, that would be great. Anyway,
no, not borrow. If I could have.
Could I have?
Yeah.
Could I have $1 million?
Yeah.
So anyway, but it was. I know that was. If you're tuning in, we took a little extra time at the top of the episode to talk about that before we got into our topic today, which is fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth mentioning that if you've been with us since the beginning or you're just joining, Noel and I'm Jacob.
I'm Noel.
And this is the Biofriendly podcast.
Welcome.
And we're just always going to try to talk about things that you can do, everyday things that you can do to the painless green, as we say, to help the world a better place. And sometimes we're going to address things from different angles and explore them, and hopefully it's going to teach you a thing or two, but it might ruffle some feathers along the way. But that's what we're here for.
Yeah, totally.
So cheers to that.
Yeah.
Cheers in our delicious Biofriendly podcast tumblers. So today's subject is really cool. We're going into some crazy realms. Like, I've hit you with some stuff in the past that, it's like, oh, it's a subject. You say ice cream or soccer or whatever. Right. This article is gonna make us all kind of go, whoa.
Nice.
We're gonna have some Keanu here.
Okay.
The article is, Are scientists on the verge of resurrecting the woolly mammoth?
Well, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great...
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you all next week on the Biofriendly podcast.
So, are scientists on the verge of resurrecting the woolly mammoth? And this is from history.com. And as I started reading this warrants a classic Attenborough reading.
Okay.
I'm just going to give you a little...
Fantastic. Let's get
let's get right to it. Okay. No. I'm just going to read one blurb just so you can really get a feel for where we're headed with this topic.
All right.
Every summer, groups of hunters head to remote, uninhabited New Siberian islands in search of the elusive white gold.
White gold?
A perfectly formed tusk of a woolly mammoth hidden in the thawing Arctic permafrost.
That is remarkable.
Remarkable. Permafrost is a great word to say.
Permafrost.
They are not only exploring the furthest reaches of the Arctic Ocean, but traveling back in time. I don't know.
Wait. They're traveling back in time?
Not really.
They're going into a time machine?
I told you this was going to be kind of a Bill and Ted's moment. No, I think they're just meaning it metaphorically. But traveling back in time.
They're metaphysically traveling back in time?
Yes.
No, I get it.
Carrying out a primordial quest. Ooh. See?
Primordial
quest.
It's unusual that you get to hear the word primordial without the word ooze.
I know, primordial. Connected. Right, it's usually primordial ooze, but this is a primordial quest, which is another great band name.
Yeah.
Primordial quest for the tusks of the massive beast that roamed the forbidding landscape in droves before going extinct 10,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all I'm going to read in the Attenborough. But when I saw this article, you might be asking yourself, what does this have to do? You listener is like, what does this have to do with climate change?
Jacob, what does this have to do with climate change?
Well, I'm glad
I've been asking myself this.
I'm glad you asked. Crazy enough, there are a group of scientists that are considering cloning or biologically recreating a elephant mammoth hybrid.
Okay.
And this is what they're going to do with that. Okay.
All right.
Arctic lands are covered by areas of ground known as permafrost, as we just learned.
Yes.
They've been frozen since the Pleistocene. Am I saying that right? Pleistocene?
I think it's Pleistocene.
Pleistocene. Okay, frozen since the Pleistocene.
You know what? We'll get flagged for it.
Okay, get
They'll
flagged.
shut us down, and then our listeners will tell us.
There's an archaeologist right now. It's just furious. We're in Indiana
Did you
Jones.
say Pleistocene?
Did you say?
You
I
bleep
hate
hole?
it. Pleistocene.
I think pretty sure it's Pleistocene.
Permafrost contains. Okay, so here is something that people might not know. Permafrost contains vast. They use the word vast amounts of carbon from dead plant life that is locked away by the extremely cold temperatures.
Okay.
The amount of carbon in these frozen stores is estimated to be about twice as much as that currently exists in the atmosphere.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
If it thaws out, microbes will break down soil organic material to release carbon dioxide and methane into the atmosphere.
Wow.
So as a result, permafrost and the associated carbon pools that have been likened to sleeping giants in our climate system, if they wake up, the resulting greenhouse gas emissions would raise global temperatures even further than currently projected, causing even greater global climate change. But this is where the shaggy friends come in.
All right, shaggies.
Okay, mammoths and other large herbivores of the Pleistocene continually trampled mosses and shrubs, uprooting trees and disturbing the landscape. In this way, they inadvertently acted as natural geoengineers, maintaining highly productive steep landscapes full of grasses, herbs, and no trees. So that's the idea behind this.
Right. Is you get these suckers back.
Yeah.
And because they're woolly, they can live up there in the cold.
Exactly.
And they can do the duty to please the environment's booty.
That is the best. I want to get involved. First of all, I want to get involved with this organization. And I want T-shirts. And I want a picture of a woolly mammoth. And it's just, they do the duty to please the environment's booty.
We should make those shirts.
Let's do it. Let's do it. But so this idea, and I hope you guys are just, I hope that everybody listening right now is like those old Memorex ads where the guy's got the audio and it's just pulling it back. And right now, and they're in the car and they're just like, whoa! Because this is the most far out climate change solution I have ever read.
Yeah. It is totally far out and completely awesome.
It's awesome.
And how rad is it that's first of all we're probably a decade away from seeing a woolly mammoth. That's kind of rad.
They've been working on it for 20 years.
Yeah.
It's been ongoing.
Well,
they're close.
Because here's the thing, right? So it's interesting how you pull it off. So you get the closest, and they've probably got it in the article somewhere, but the closest living.
I want to hear it from you.
Living relative, right, of the woolly mammoth,
right?
And I can't forget.
It's an Asian elephant.
Asian elephant. Thank you. Okay. So you get that, and then you use that because when you're cloning, you need to have a mother. You need to actually birth the clone.
Sure.
Right. So, but what's interesting is if you get a mammoth and you birth that mammoth with an Asian elephant egg, then you have the baby.
Yeah.
Then you get a half mammoth, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you do it again with a different, because now they're collecting lots of mammoth because, the permafrost is freezing and we're all going to die.
Yeah, of course.
Which is something we preach on the show all the time.
Right.
We're all going to die. It's hopeless.
Mm-hmm. That should be our new tag.
we're all going to die. It's hopeless.
Biofriendly podcast. We're all going to die. It's hopeless. No, we're kidding. We're kidding.
We're joking. But you get a different mammoth.
Yeah.
All right. And then you get a different Asian elephant. And then you do it again. And then you do that with enough.
Yeah.
You get enough half mammoths. Yeah. And then you get those half mammoths to start to breed. And you have now a 3/4 mammoth. Yeah. And then you get those to breed. And basically, over time, as these mammoths start to breed, you get a legitimate, actual, almost
woolly
entirely mammothy woolly mammoth.
I mean, it's just, to me, that what's so cool about this is, look, we're literally doing everything we can to stop the clock on global temperatures rising, pollution, air pollution, cleaning our oceans. We're doing everything we can. I got to really just be stand and applaud at the people who are like, what if we cloned woolly mammoths?
What if we cloned woolly mammoths?
Because
and had them stomp on the permafrost.
On the permafrost. And
like they used to do.
That'll do what we did. If I was to walk out of a Whole Foods and there was a guy with a clipboard, and I'd normally be like, I don't want to be bothered right now. And he'd be like, save the whales, save the oceans, whatever. I'd be like, whatever. But if a guy was like, clone the woolly mammoths, I'd be like, what? Pardon? Wind that back. Can I hear what you're talking about? Can I hear what's going on? How do I get involved? because that is so cool to me. First of all, this is the most Jurassic Park climate change solution ever.
Right.
And the idea is, okay, we're not bringing back T-Rexes, we're bringing back the woolly mammoth, which we've all seen Ice Age.
Right.
They're adorable and grumpy like Ray Romano, just tromping around. And I think that we could use some woolly mammoths to help the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in. I am 100% in on the idea of bringing back the mammoth to please the environment's booty.
I want it. Yeah, so they have the challenge is, so this is while I was reading more about it is China has banned the exporting of ivory. That's been something that's been like since 2016.
Yeah.
The ivory, you get the ivory trade. So where is it? It says traditional Chinese carvers make elaborate sculptures out of mammoth ivory and mammoth tusks, but it's been a little bit more difficult because especially since China banned the import and sale of elephant ivory in 2016. So Russia exported 72 metric tons of mammoth ivory in 2017, with more than 80% of it going to China.
Right.
So there's a traditional thing in China and these parts of Siberia where unearthing a woolly mammoth is kind of taboo.
Ooh.
So it's like, if you find it, it's great because they're like, there's the tusk that I could use to sell for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
White gold.
And it's white gold, but also I feel like I'm disturbing a great beast and I'm doing a disservice.
Yeah.
So there's this challenge for them. When they find it, they don't want to unearth it.
Well, okay, so first of all, the ivory trade is a disaster.
It's a disaster. It's terrible.
It is.
As I take off my ivory jacket, you audience don't know at home, but I was wearing a jacket made of ivory.
Okay, so and I know we try to not just sit here on one side of the point of view, right?
Yeah,
so there's classic art made from ivory and has been over a long time, and and if the
animal's deceased,
animal is already dead,
yes,
then you can totally
take that ivory,
go for it.
Yeah.
But the problem is that that's not what's happening.
It's not what's happening.
You're killing beautiful animals.
Yes.
Just so that you can have the ivory tusks and then leaving a dead animal.
Yeah.
Just there to rot.
It's not good. And that's never okay. Ever.
It's causing endangerment.
Right.
And then what do we do when we don't have our current elephants to stomp the ground and make the booty?
We need elephants.
The booty.
Exactly. We need elephants because I love them. One.
Yes.
Two, because they are important to the world. But number one, I love elephants.
I love elephants.
I love elephants.
Yeah.
So, but you're right. You're right. The ivory trade is problematic, and if it's done in a morally ethical, correct way, which is the animal's deceased, it's the bones, we're collecting the tusk from the bones, then by all means. But so scientists have found they found a intact female, and so it says, let me see what it is. A team uncovered the almost complete carcass of a young female mammoth buried in the permafrost of the New Siberian Islands. Their carbon dating revealed that Buttercup. That's what. Have you heard of Buttercup before?
No, but I love it.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Princess
Buttercup
lived some 40,000 years ago. From her remains, including a vial of blood drained from her carcass, scientists hope to extract living mammoth cells that will yield intact DNA. So that's we now have the ability to do this.
And as more permafrost melts, as we fry this sucker up, more of these guys are going to be unearthed.
Yeah.
And that's how they'll pull it off.
Yeah. So they're going to be like, well, so it's like, no thanks, global warming, but thanks for giving us some intact
Basically, it's
silver lining.
It's so funny because it's like a the problem that shouldn't exist.
Right.
Reveals a potential solution that's cool.
Yeah.
Because it's cool. Like you don't. If we weren't dealing with melting permafrost, then we wouldn't need the mammoths.
But now that we're dealing with melting permafrost,
at least they're giving us mammoths.
We're gonna need to give them. It's as if the Earth knows something's wrong.
Yeah.
Right. The Earth is like, hey, this isn't any good.
It feels like a superhero thing, right? Like
does.
there's been a superhero who's been waiting frozen over time, and then the event has occurred, and it's time.
Yeah.
It's been 40,000 years. It's time for the superhero to return.
Well, thought out heroes we don't have enough thought out hero like since Encino Man.
That's a great band also.
The Thawed Out Heroes.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a great band name. Thawed Out, like since Encino Man, I haven't seen a really good thawed out movie.
It's probably usually thought out villains, isn't it? It's usually the bad guys who are stuck somewhere.
Stuck somewhere in ice. But like Encino Man was a classic 90s film with Pauly Shore and Brendan Fraser where they find a caveman and he thaws out in Encino. If you haven't seen that, I mean, it's a great classic 90s movie. But then there was a movie I think in the early 80s called Iceman. I remember watching that one about another one. And then of course Saturday Night Live had the classic Phil Hartman sketch, the caveman, unthawed caveman lawyer. That was one of my favorites. But I think that we need more, more thawed out heroes need to come to the rescue is what I'm gathering from this. I think that why stop at Woolly Mammoth? Let's find some other things we can thaw out and clone.
Thaw out everything.
Yeah. Let's do
and clone it.
Well, and I haven't really kept up on my cloning technology.
Yeah, sure.
I haven't really, I have unsubscribed from Cloning Monthly years ago.
I know.
They kept sending me double issues.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Well, they're just pests. the cloning community are they won't leave you alone.
They just double down on everything.
They knock on your door and they show up. Hey, would you like Cloning Monthly? And you're like, no. And then they come back. And they're like, well, you're sure? Because it's, the first month is free and we'll give you.
And you're like, didn't I just talk to you? But I didn't know how much it's already kind of been perfected. So clearly, I don't know if you knew this.
Well, we've been cloning sheep since the 1900s.
I know. And then now dogs. There's a controversial company that can clone your dog.
Bring your dog?
They can. Barbara Streisand has done it.
It's not your dog.
It's not.
Here's the thing.
Haven't you seen?
It's not. The thing that people are confused on with clones is they think, well, it's a clone. It's the same thing. Well, no, genetically it's the same. But
it's not your dog.
It's either, if we're going to go here, we're going to get it flagged, okay?
Okay. Let's get flagged.
If you believe in souls,
get flagged.
Right? If you believe in spirituality, then the spirit is different.
Right.
If you just take it to nature, then the way that animal or human, if you were to do it, is raised is different, and so they are a different person. Right? So whichever take you to take, go for it. I don't care. But what I will say is, a clone is more like a twin.
Yeah, it's more like a twin. It's its own thing.
Right. It is like if we clone Buttercup.
Right.
The Buttercup that's born is not going to be the same Buttercup as the one that we all knew and loved 40,000 years ago.
Buttercup, Butterstuff.
Right. Butterstuff Oreos.
Butterface, Stuffer Mutts. Somebody. So, it's not going to be the same thing. Well, it said in this article that, people like Barbara Streisand have had their dogs cloned. So I think we need to get Barbara Streisand on the show.
All right.
And just see what she thinks about her clone dog. I don't know.
Lance, get that done.
Did you get Babs on the show?
Get
her on. You can't.
We want to talk to her about
you
what?
Can't?
Why not?
We've been flagged. Okay. So
I want to fire Lance, but it's probably not his fault.
Yeah, you can't fire Lance.
I'm kidding.
It's almost the holidays.
Lance, chill.
So
I would never fire someone a month and a half before Halloween.
This is exactly the kind of stuff that I hope that we discover more of on the Biofriendly podcast, because there is talk about innovation, man. We have been talking about cleaning water, reducing plastic waste, gas waste.
Gas.
No, not
We've
my.
talked a lot about gas.
Not my personal gas problems, but reducing emissions, air quality. Things that we do here at Biofriendly with Green Plus and how we help that. There's all these great innovations that are out there, but never in a million years did I think I would look at a group of scientists, a team of scientists that are saying, okay, one of our solutions, and that it would be such a huge impact if they actually did this. If there were woolly mammoths tromping around in the Arctic tundra, it could release twice as much. The carbon it could absorb and whatever the science is. I read it. Now I've already forgotten it. I haven't read it. But what I'm saying is it could help so tremendously, and that this process has been in motion for 20 years.
Right.
That they've been working on this for that long.
Right. Well, because the moment somebody says we want to clone a woolly mammoth, investors come running. Right. It's always about the money.
Yeah.
We'll get flagged for that, but it's always about the money.
We're in trouble.
So like people think about, oh my God, think about what it will be worth to have a woolly mammoth.
Yeah.
And so you get so you can do this. So this will happen because people will fund it because it's.
And there's going to be a black market of woolly mammoths. There's going to be like there's going to be an LA party that we go to. And we're like, is that a woolly mammoth? And like, yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's James Franco's woolly mammoth. You didn't know that? He bought it from the Arctic tundra. And I'm like, that thing's supposed to be tromping around on the Arctic tundra, helping the rest of us live.
Why?
James Franco,
why are you the environment?
Why are you buying woolly mammoths?
That's so James Franco.
So Dave Franco would never do that.
Dave is a far more friendly to the environment and mammoths.
He would never buy a woolly mammoth.
No.
But I don't know. This is just fascinating to me.
Yeah,
it's absolutely fascinating.
No, it's because it's a cool thing. And here's the thing. All right, so we've ruined everybody's hopes by saying that the permafrost is melting and that diseases are being released from beneath the permafrost, and that
we're going to be fine.
All of that carbon dioxide is coming up, and we're all going to die. Right?
No.
Now the bright side of this is here's an example of the fact that we're not all hopeless, and that there are brilliant minds looking at these problems and saying, what's a creative way to solve this?
You're looking at not two of them.
Well, we try to pretend.
I'm not wearing my glasses this week, so I feel very, very dumb.
Yeah, I was saying I can't see you without your glasses.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I will bring them back. Yeah. I'll bring the glasses back. I'm sorry. I interrupted your point about...
never give up. Never surrender.
Never surrender. At the end of the day, Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest.
Never give up. Never surrender.
Yep.
No, it's I am just excited to see other ways that we can solve it because there's cloning is a we got to get involved with these people.
Okay.
We got to get involved.
Let's do it.
I gotta talk to them. I gotta be like, how do I get involved? What T-shirts can we make that say?
How can we bring awareness to what you're doing?
Yeah. How can I do my duty to clean the Earth's booty? Yeah, wasn't that it?
Please, the environment's booty.
Please, the environment's booty. Clean the Earth's booty.
I don't know if we want to clean its booty, but we do want to please it.
Just going around the equator, just with a towel, just right there. Just
a mop.
We got. Yeah, clean up the Earth's booty. But yeah, I want to get involved. I want to see how we can. I don't know how you help an organization like that. I guess they're scientists at Harvard, so they're probably just doing fine. They're fine. Like they don't need me outside the window. Like, guys, you need anything? Coffee?
No, there's always something. There's always something. You know,
money probably.
Often it's money. I mean, there's like even the geniuses of Earth need something. They need help. That little morons like us, knuckleheads who just got defrosted out of a cave.
Yeah, and actually we're helping right now because we're talking about it on the show.
That's true. We're bringing
awareness
to the fact.
Our greatest gift.
Clones are coming.
Clones are coming. Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Woolly Mammoth Clones.
Do we do it?
We did it, man.
All right. Should we get some lunch?
We should get some lunch. Let's go have some mammoth burgers.
I hear their meat is the tenderest.
Well, this has been, it's good to I'm glad we got a chance to tell you guys about the flagging and the Amazon. We'll see what happens going forward as we keep tackling subjects week after week. Sometimes we'll have things that, strike a chord and other times we won't. But apparently that Amazon one, man, that's going to be our legacy.
That's it.
We're going down in history as the guys that said things on a show.
Awful.
Unbelievable.
Just thoughtless jerks.
In America, too. Spoke their minds. Shared some stats.
Don't ever speak your mind in America. It's not allowed.
Ever. It's terrible.
It's not accepted. And it smells bad.
It does. Yeah.
I
just wanted to live in that for a moment. Anyway, this has been the Biofriendly Podcast, your beacon of light in a gloomy environment.
Sound years ahead of the competition.
Saving the world eventually.
Tantamount.
So glorious. So handsome.
The same one I forgot.
Tangential.
Oh, it is. It is tangential.
Tangential.
But worth it.
And we're never going to make it.
We're not yet. No. Yeah, we're all going to die.
We're all going to die. No. Kids.
It's hopeless. We're all going to die.
I always have to have the disclaimer that we're always joking when we say that kind of stuff. We're just kind of having fun and being silly. Because we do have a lot of kids, our own, that really like this show.
Yeah, we want it to be good for kids.
And so when we make that, it's really just us kind of making a off-the-cuff joke. look at the current tone about things around the planet. So when we say that, we're just messing around. Every time you hear us say it, just don't take us seriously. Never take us seriously. Unless we're talking about the Amazon.
Then take it very seriously.
Thanks, guys.
It's the Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.